Hello and welcome to the chess workshop where the brain is our grinder. And today I'm going to show you why calculation without candidate moves is just guessing. And here in this position, white is to move. And I want you to pause the video right here and think for yourself. And I would recommend you to think for yourself for like 10 minutes. And then you can hit the play button again and we go through the process. Okay, so I hope you paused the video and thought about it. And here, first we have to look into the position. And we can notice that white has a knight and a rook against the queen. And, well, 4 pawns against 4 pawns. And probably black's pawns are weaker than white's pawns, and white has these two central pawns, especially the e-pawn, which could be dangerous at one point. And well, the first thing you have to calculate, and this is why candidate moves and the order how to calculate candidate moves is so important. The first thing we calculate is a capture with a check. And this here is, in this position, it is rook takes c7. That's our first candidate move. And, well, after rook takes c7, black, nope, I don't want to move it. Black goes to d8. And, okay, after king d8, black could give another check with rook d7 check. Now king c8. And then I don't see anything good for white here. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back. Rook takes c7, king d8. Does white have any other options? No, I don't see any better options really, because the rook is hanging on c7. Rook d7 check and king c8. Yeah, I mean, after king c8, I think there is nothing in this position for white. So let's go back and have a look at the next candidate move. And the next move we have to calculate after the captures with a check is the check moves. And here in this position we have two check moves. We have knight c6 check and we have knight g6 check. And let's start with knight c6 check. After knight c6 check, let's see, I think black has a lot of options, and I think black could move the king to e8. After king e8, white has no more checks, and the rook is hanging on c4. And of course, black also threatens to play queen b1 check. So I can't see anything for white after knight c6 check. So let's see what happens after knight g6 check. After knight g6, I think black just goes to d8, protects the pawn on c7. And, well, the rook is hanging on c4. And I think there is nothing else in this position for white. And the key is in these positions, or when you start calculating, that you don't calculate yeah, too deep in one line, because you miss a candidate move on the way. And so just focus on, yeah, 2 to 3 moves. And if you can find something interesting, then okay, cancel that line and go to the next one. And if at the very end, if you don't have anything interesting yet, you can go back to the previous variations you calculated and go deeper there. Okay, so knight g6 is nothing, knight c6 check is nothing, and rook takes c7 is nothing. After all these moves, we have covered the capture with a check and the check, and after these two, there follows just captures. And here, for example, white could capture on a4, but this is, yeah, just replied with rook, queen takes a4, rook takes a4, queen takes a4. And yeah, with the winning position for black, I think we don't have to really look into that. So we can cancel this one out too. And now at this stage, we've looked at 1, 2, 3, 4 moves, and there's no one in there that's really interesting. And now most of the people, and included myself, I mean, you get nervous because you can't find something interesting, and then you look at your time and you see you calculated for quite a lot, for quite a bit, and you don't have anything interesting. And yeah, this makes you feel nervous. But if you just follow these steps and just go quickly or briefly into one line, like I said, 2 to 3 moves, you will get there, and you can also have it really quick in the end. And just don't worry about the time. Of course, in a real game, time is a factor. But if you practice that, just don't worry about the 10 minutes, for example, in the beginning. And if you didn't finish it in the 10 minutes, it's better to calculate with quality instead of quantity. So yeah, that's my tip for you, or that's my my suggestion. And the last thing we have to calculate here in this position is the threatening moves. And there are 2 threatening moves here. We have rook c5 and we have rook b4. And let's start with rook c5. Okay, rook c5, the queen is attacked. And I think black plays queen b1 check, attacking the e4 pawn and the a2 pawn. King goes to f2. And then queen takes e4. And I think there is nothing else for white in this position, in the contrary, because white just lost a pawn, a very valuable pawn actually. And so let's cancel this variation. Rook c5 doesn't work. And then we have one more move left. This is rook b4. And looks a little bit weird, right? I mean, the rook is hanging, but let's see what happens after queen takes b4. Okay, now I see, okay, I have knight c6 check, and I win the queen, right? Okay, so let's go back. Rook b4. Queen takes b4 doesn't work because of knight c6. The queen also can't go to a5. That will be the next move because of knight c6. And we win the queen again. And there is actually no other moves left for the queen except e8. So let's see what happens after queen e8. And after rook b4, queen e8, we don't have any moves that capture something and give check at the same time. We have check moves. That's right, we have check moves. We have knight c6 and knight g6 still, but they are going to be captured by the queen. The knight will be captured by the queen. And capture moves, okay, we still have rook takes a4, but yeah, as I said, queen takes a4 and black wins. So we have to keep going with threatening moves. And the really only one that's threatening something is rook b8. I attack the queen one more time, and we can already see, okay, if queen takes b8, then we once again have knight c6 check. And winning the queen. So this doesn't work. And of course the queen can't move on the 8th rank because it'll be captured by the rook. The same follows for moves like queen d7, queen f7, queen g6, queen c6, or queen b5. Queen will be captured. So the only move that's left is queen h5. And this is a really interesting line now, right? And you can see now that, yeah, you start feeling happy again because you finally found something that's interesting. And actually, let's go ahead and go back for a second and start visualizing that one more time. So rook b4, because I went, I think I went pretty quick in this calculation here. So rook b4, queen goes to e8, rook b8, and then there is the only move queen h5. And here, once again, let's see what white can play. And visualizing is also an important part of calculation, but we'll see that later. And well, with the queen on h5, rook on b8, let's see what we got. We got knight c6 check still after queen h5. And well, I think the king just goes, I think the king just goes to d7 and attacks the knight. So this doesn't lead nowhere. Knight g6 is not possible really because it's taken away by the queen on h5. So we have to look again for threatening moves. And let's see what happens if we attack the queen one more time with our rook and play rook h8. And here, let's see what black's options are. Of course, he could capture the rook on h8. So queen takes h8. And here we have knight g6. And we can win the queen again with a nice fork. So this doesn't work. And let's go back just for a second and try to visualize everything again. So rook b4, queen e8, rook goes to b8, queen h5, queen h5, rook h8. So the queen has no moves on the h-file because of the rook on h8, and the queen has no more moves here on the on g4, on f3 is covered, e2 and d1 is covered, and of course g6, f7 and e8 is covered by knight and rook. Yeah, that looks good, right? I win the queen, and the best move here for black is to take on h8, then knight g6, king f7, and knight takes h8. And even though after king g7 the knight is trapped on h8, but this is still enough to win this position because of these two pawns here. And you can just believe me that is the case for now, because we just wanted to focus on candidate moves and the order how to calculate your candidate moves. So let's go back just one more time and visualize everything, which is very important, as I said in the beginning. Okay, let's see, rook b4. Does black has any other options? Not really. Queen e8. And now rook b8. Does black has any other options? Not really. Queen h5. And well, we don't have to look really for white's options, because we found a line that's interesting, right? We found a line that's favorable for white. So we only have to find the best moves for black here. And so we can go ahead and play rook h8. And after rook h8, yeah, that looks good. Queen takes h8 and knight g6 check. And white wins the queen and also the game. And this is today's video, and I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a lot, and if you want some more chess content, please subscribe to my channel, and I see you later.